Well, as usual by this stage, Kylie had a lot of control with the video, and it's a real corker. Although a very simple concept, and it's not one of her highest budgeted videos or one of her biggest hit songs, this video contains some of the most iconic images of the early part of her career. It shows Kylie at her best, again channeling Brigitte Bardot, this time directly echoing scenes from And God Created Woman, as well as throwing a bunch of other film references around. Those sunglasses in particular are very Stanley Kubrick. Kylie told Smash Hits, "No one could ever be another Bardot. That's impossible. She created that strong persona and I'm taking that on for the video. It's fun. No woman is a perfect woman, but she comes the closest."
Kylie worked once again with director Gregg Masuak, who had worked extensively with Kim Wilde, as well as shooting videos for Kathy Dennis, Belinda Carlisle and Dannii Minogue. Gregg is going to join us now to recap the 2 Kylie videos he directed for singles we've already discussed, If You Were With Me Now, and Give Me Just a Little More Time, before talking about What Kind of Fool.
What kind of fools are you and I? There would be stars up in the sky if you were with me now.
So how did you connect with Kylie to do the first video, If You Were With Me Now?
I was trying to remember the first meeting, and I don't even recall if I'd met her before seeing her on set. So I must have met Terry Blamey, because he was, obviously the lovely guy that was kind of behind her all that time. But literally all I could remember about the conversation about this video was that at that time, the stock Aitken and Waterman were having a problem with figuring out what the fuck to do with her, because she had suddenly appeared as sexy. And there's definitely a point where she did her kind of last obvious, happy Kylie, stock Aitken and Waterman, well-known Kylie, and Better the Devil You Know. And suddenly she appears very differently and very sexy, and obviously was busting her ass learning how to dance, and make it look, she was amazing. The difference between the video before that one and her appearance, I think she was gone for about 6 months in Australia. So whatever she was doing, she was hard at work, reshaping herself into something else. But Stock Aitken and Waterman didn't know what to do because they wanted cute little Kylie, non-sexy Kylie back. And I remember having a discussion and me saying, well, why don't I just make her into whatever she wants to be is possible. So that's where the idea of having her as kind of behind the scenes Kylie, but also all these different, not replicas, but, kind of nods in the direction of Lana Turner, all Marilyn, all the different iconic actresses throughout the ages-ish, the pouty French movie star in the middle of the crew. My personal directive, and it came from me, was instead of worrying about what to make her into, why don't I just open the door for her being anything she wants to be? And from that point onwards, I didn't realize how actually crucial that was, because ever after that, she was always Kylie in the version of whatever she damn well felt like. And so that problem went away, yeah.
Yeah, right. So the idea of, it being on a film set and she's making a film and Keith is somewhere being miserable against a wall.
Yeah, yes. I'm sorry, Keith. I felt like he was so shooed into that video. It was really like, oh God, I could have done better, but I didn't.
But that was your idea. Hey, let's put you on a movie set and you can be these characters. You can be whatever actress you want to be.
Yes, exactly. And the thing about Kylie is she, all the videos that I did with her, I literally do not remember having a discussion where she was like, oh, I don't really know. Or, you just say something and she go, okay. And, she was just do it. And she would do it amazingly. Like she just like throw her in a situation and she just becomes it. And so she was, such a joy to work with like that, because you just go like, get on a table and dance like, Brigitte Bardot in whatever the fuck that film is called, And God Made Women. And she, like me, probably knew very little about that film, but just became Brigitte Bardot and in her version and did it. And I don't remember going, I have to get on the table or anything like that. It was just like, bam, okay.
And was there ever a suggestion that they would like meet at the end of the video or anything? Or is it just, nah, if you were with me now, you're not with me?
First of all, I don't think they wanted, they're very protective as a lot of record companies were, to not infer a real relationship. Like it's like Kim Wilde and Junior in Another Step, and they finally, there, but they're just pals and they're dancing together. Oh, it was mainly just like nobody wanted to have the star be seen to have like a boyfriend, a real boyfriend, because it's just like, takes the fantasy out of out of all the audience. Insert myself in that scene kind of thing.
So was there a decent budget for that video with all those looks? Because it looks fantastic.
Not really, no. I mean, okay, you got to remember also, in terms of its time, it's probably a hell of a lot better than budgets now. I would say, honestly, that was probably about 40 grand. Like, it was a lot of stuff, and 40 grand would not be an exceptionally good budget. But, I'm very user friendly, and I just like to, get production value, baby. But I mean, 40 grand now obviously is like huge for most poor struggling directors doing music videos.
That's in pounds, right?
Pounds, yeah.
Word Is Out had come just before If You Were With Me Now. I don't know if you ever saw the video for Word Is Out, where Kylie's basically in the street being a prostitute.
As we all are.
It was done in like dingy back alleys behind PWL.
I'm going to have to check it out now.
It looks cheap and nasty.
Yeah.
Whereas this video looks $1 million because it's filmic. I wondered if there was we've got to step it up with this one, because the last one was a bit...
No. Honestly, it was all me. I mean, I will say, honestly, it was all me. I came from first of all, I was a trained cinematographer. That was my certificate of cinematography in New South Wales Institute of Technology, and then took my technical skills, very, very technical training. So I knew how to light and camera, and I knew sound, edit. And so I knew my craft very well. And also I was much more film focused. And that was my training, was film and narrative. And so it's really an important thing that I always tell my children these days in the world of film, of music video making, is you have to know your craft. Because when you know your craft, you know what's working and what's not working. You know how to fix things. And in a video like this, where there's so many things to achieve, there's no room to fuck around and not know what you're doing. Give Me Just a Little More Time is the sort of sepia one where she has a push-up bra. And that was really fun. Yeah, I think we just needed to do it in terms of timing in one spot and just do a timepiece, I guess it is. Jazzy, New York-y, kind of speakeasy, kind of fun, get together. And again, like, you look at that video and that's all Kylie. I mean, like, there's nobody that can jump in the middle of the room and all she's got to deal with is a push-up bra and a dress and make the entire video just come together through that. I mean, she just shines, she just works it and she makes it come alive. And, that's such a joy to work with.
Kylie has said that she hated doing the bit in the studio. Do you remember that bit in the song?
Yeah.
When it came to the video, was she over that? Did she just get on with it and do it? Or do you remember that being a thing?
No, I don't think there was. You know what? The thing about Kylie is she would never, if she had a thing about something, she would make it work. However, I don't think remembering that video that she even does that. I think she makes it up with her shoulders and her push-up bra and her dress. The push-up bra and the dress go rather than she does.
Now, all the dancers who are in it, did you cast them? Because they're very energetic.
Yes, and there was a guy that I used several times. 𝙁𝙤𝙤𝙤, his name is Jake Canuso now, but 𝙁𝙤𝙤𝙤, who's one of the key dancers in that. And I used him in a lot of different videos throughout those points of time. And he's now Benidorm. In Benidorm, he's the overtly Spanish. I don't really know what his character is, but he's the one with a really thick, he's swarmy, kind of like, sexy, swarmy guy in the Benidorm series.
Before that, he was jumping around with Kylie.
He was jumping around with Kylie, and he was jumping around in every other music video I could squeeze him into, because he's such a nice guy, and he was so good.
I mean, the difference between If You Were With Me Now and I guess a lot of Kylie's videos and Give Me Just a Little More Time is that Kylie's not crowded, but there's a lot of people around her. Whereas If You Were With Me Now, it was all her. Point of difference?
That was something that we were working on as well, just to make her not look like she's just an isolated bitch in a sea of people. Like she's a real person with a push-up bra. I'm sorry, I have to keep mentioning that push-up bra. I was so impressed.
Are you on commission?
No. It's just like, you rock, man. You rock that.
And the sepia filter, I guess, was to give it that oldie worldy.
Very much that, yeah, real jazz age, borrowing from that 20s, 30s jazz age classic kind of look, yeah.
Then it was time for the Greatest Hits album. What Kind of Fool is a very almost throwback to the more popular.
Yeah. Yes, and I just was looking at that, like I said, very, very back to that old pop.
Because that was such a throwback sound, Kylie has kind of expressed that it wasn't a favourite of hers, that song, because it was old style Kylie. Did you get that impression that she wasn't as big a fan of the song?
No. Again, Kylie would never, ever... She would never roll her eyes even, kind of go, okay, we'll do this song. She's a totally committed person. So when she's doing something, she is with that 100%. I didn't like the song. Actually, now just listening to it, I think, okay, yeah, it's like a typical PWL song, whatever. But it was definitely my least favorite of the songs that I worked with her in, because I just felt it was a step backwards away from what we were kind of working towards. But of course, with the directive already, in my own mind, and obviously she was down with that, to give her a strong classic movie heroine vibe. And like I say, nobody can jump on a table after you go, hey, why don't you jump on the table and dance? And you go, okay, like her, like just do it. And that makes my life happy, because I didn't direct any of that. That was pure Kylie just doing what she needed to do, get on the table.
And was that in the moment? Was that, why don't you do this? Or was it, did you plan it? And
I'm trying to remember, because there were references, obviously visual references, the sheets and the shadow, and that was all part of the And God Created Woman with Brigitte Bardot. I think it was her big first explosive appearance on the big screen, and so there were reference points from that film. I don't recall whether there was a bit with Brigitte Bardot jumping up on something, but it was probably in my mind like what Brigitte Bardot should do. And maybe it was in my mind enough that I put a freaking table in the middle of a set. I have no idea. I don't really think that was totally planned until the day, and we were going, this would be really good. I would love this moment, would be really cool.
What about when she puts a foot on the guy and kind of...
I know, that's so cool that I just was watching that, because I was like, no, that's her. She is a born performer. She's a showgirl. And so she will, with whatever you have there with her to work with, absolutely her. You'll see, like, he pulls her strap comes down when she's doing the little canoodling on the bed thing, and she kind of works with that naturally. It's rather than, some performers would just kind of grab it and would like to reset. And she makes replacing the strap actually some little sub story within the story. She's just such a natural, inherently brilliant do with what she's got in front of her performer.
Even though it is a very poppy song, it's a sexy video because of those references you put in. Yeah,
and that's kind of like where we're going. It's like, okay, in a way, and probably for her too, but like I say, never a roll of the eyeballs. Okay, let's just forget the song. And you're Brigitte Bardot. This is it. Like young Brigitte Bardot in God Created Woman. There's nothing sexier than that film. We're just going to go with that. And let's just forget that the song is doing, because that's just stupid.
There is a bit of attitude in the song. She's basically telling the guy off. And I think some of her earlier songs were like, I wouldn't change a thing. You might be running around on me, but I still love you.
Yeah.
And there's a song, Je ne sais pas pourquoi, I still love you, I don't know why. So I think earlier on, she had these no good guys in her songs, but she was like, oh, well.
Oh, well, let's do it.
This was like, what do you take me for kind of thing. So I think even though it is poppy, there is a bit of grit.
Oh, no. But, when you're listening to the song and you're looking at her actions, and I would like to claim a lot of that stuff, but that is just her instinctively at this stage of her career, knowing what she wants to represent. She's in control. And so all those little nuances, even though the broad directive came from an agreement on how we were going to approach this whole thing without making it sicky poppy, that stuff is her literally at the moment instinctively doing what can actually build that idea even further. The foot on the shoulder was never a planned thing. She's a showgirl. She got a shoulder, she's going to use it.
So it sounds like it was quite collaborative, and you obviously had a good rapport going.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's just a really easygoing person to be with. At that point of her life, I think also she kind of was very quiet, very sweet, but kind of she's not the life of the party on set. Doesn't try to be. She's got a lot of things that has to do, and so she contains that until the camera turns over, and then bam, every bit of energy in her comes there for you to have and enjoy and film. So we got along very, very well generally, and we kind of hung out a little bit from time to time over the Groucho Club. At one stage, I was trying to get her into a film. I just liked the idea. I loved her acting so much from the Delinquents, and I was trying to figure out a way to tap into that. It never happened, but yeah. She's a good girl.
Now, even though we don't all agree on Celebration as a choice of farewell single for the PWL era, or even as something Kylie should ever have recorded, although I don't agree with those sentiments, I think we can all agree that she looked absolutely fantastic in the video.
Well, if you're going to celebrate anywhere in the world, Rio would have to be at the top of most people's lists. And Kylie was keen to catch us some of that carnival energy for her last ever PWL video clip.
Joining us once again to talk about that jaunt to Brazil is music video director Gregg Masuak. You can't call him an isolated bitch. Here he is to discuss the clip for Celebration. That looked like a lot of fun. Was it fun, or was it difficult because your location?
It was a huge amount of fun, but here is the thing. Up until the day we arrived, in fact, the evening we arrived, and I remember it being warm because I had convinced my producer and my couple of members of the crew to come skinny dipping with me in front of the hotel in the world's most well-lit beach. So it was obviously still warm that night when we almost got arrested. And thank God my production manager spoke fluent Portuguese, so we didn't get hauled to jail, which was actually imminent. But from the day after our skinny dipping experience on arrival till the day we left was the coldest, rainiest week in history in November. Like it was miserable. And so that scene with the rain pouring down and it's very sexy and all these young, guys and girls are dancing on the beach. After every single take, those young guys and girls would throw themselves into the ocean, which was by far warmer in the sea than it was outside. It was absolutely like wintry, icy cold rain that they were joyously dancing under. Everybody was physically so miserable for that whole shoot. It's a tribute to everybody. And I'm very energetic on set too. And so I will always be with everybody and make sure that everybody is getting the vibe and tapping into a vibe rather than the actual grueling physicality of what the reality is. So yeah, kudos to them and Kylie for standing in the freezing cold rain and making it look sexy and fun.
Was it your idea? I've got an idea. Let's go to Rio.
No, I think Rio was a given. Like I think there was something to do with the tour or whatever it was, or she wanted to go to Rio, whatever it was. Like we had to do Rio, and it was a very, very unplanned in terms of what we were going to do. I've never been to Rio. I didn't know what was there. We got there, I was like racing around the first few days of being there and trying to figure out what do you do in Rio to create this idea of celebration. And so I kind of, there's a famous book I think it's called Rio, by a famous photographer. As you know by now, I can't remember any names, no matter how much I try. But there are some very sexy black and white photographs that were taken around that time of young, beautiful men and young, beautiful women hanging out in Rio. So that was kind of the only point of reference that I had. And then where do we film these things, and how does it film to look really fun, and ends up with a kind of a carnival kind of vibe.
You've got to have a street party in Rio.
Yeah. And that was actually, they were actually preparing for Carnival. I think they prepare it way in advance, so that we were actually filming in some little area where they had a lot of those costumes, on standby. And I think there was the one day that luckily the rains broke and the sun sort of came out, clouds, and the sun came out, so we weren't getting frozen.
That's all the shots with the quote-unquote normal people. So you had all your models in the rain, your model good-looking types, and these were average Rio citizens.
Yeah, they were the kids of the people that were doing the costumes, sewing the costumes for the pending Carnival, and so they were the people, the real life people. And Brazilians are great. They just want to have fun. So you turn the camera on them and they do their thing.
And so they were all up for it. They were like, "You want to be in a music video?" Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like, "Oh, I don't know, I've got homework to do." It's like, sure.
It was like, "Where's the camera? Let's go."
We don't even know who this is. We're going to do it anyway. I don't care. I don't know who you are.
So I'm assuming they didn't know who Kylie was.
I don't think so, no. I mean, probably the kind of older, groovier young men and women on the beach would have known about her. But this is like a little village. The kids weren't being shot. They were happy to be alive.
Did the model-y types, did you cast them, or did someone cast them before you got there, or did they come with you?
No, they didn't come with us. I mean, Brazil is...
right.
Everybody is stunningly beautiful there. I don't know what the hell's going on. You'll do. Yeah. Gorgeous, you're gorgeous.
Walk down the street. There we go. You got your cast.
Yeah.
Now, after a couple of albums worth of very serious, sexy videos, all very glamorous, and this is just fun. And obviously the song is Celebration, so it goes with the song. But was it important for Kylie and you, I guess, for this to be fun and not like all those other videos?
Yeah, I think she just wanted to have fun. She literally just maybe it was just her directive. I want to go to Brazil. I want to have fun. And so that was it. Let's have fun. Okay. I'm not going to say, oh, really, Brazil. Fun? Brazil? Not my style, babe. Get somebody else.
Throughout these 4 videos, did you have anything to do with PWL, or was it all just Kylie and Terry? I
honestly do not recall ever meeting a single one of them. They came onto a set. I doubt that they did. I wasn't introduced to them. It was Terry and Kylie, really, that they were my main frame.
So you didn't get any feedback or notes from either Mushroom or PWL. It was just all through Terry, Kylie.
Honestly, I don't even remember that there were ever, as there often were, I don't think there was ever a great deal of like, oh, we need more of this or less of this. I don't remember one single one of those videos. And I used to edit my own stuff at that stage as well. So I was very involved in that process. I don't remember there being any particular like concerns or worries or notes or anything. They were kind of like, oh yeah, thank you.
Job well done. I guess that's why they kept coming back.
Yeah, things can be very problematic on a music video shoot, and you're trying your hardest to rescue something that's just a dog's dinner, and that wasn't the case here. And also, as an editor, you got no lack of amazing moments with Kylie on camera because she just projects so much. So as long as, I hadn't been doing it for that long, but I knew enough that, make her look good and everybody's going to say, yeah, okay, that's fine, move on.
So how would you sum up your working relationship with Kylie over those 4 videos?
Oh, over those 4 videos, yeah, fantastic. And I think what kind of really consolidated it was that we did If You Were With Me Now as the very, very first thing. For somebody that was obviously, there was a great deal of concern about her look and how she's going to come across, and probably a lot of concerns on her part, hidden concerns because she would never reveal them, that the first door of entrance into my world was carte blanche for her to become whatever she damn well wanted to be. And I think as a result of that very first introduction and the success of and her love of playing a character, I think that helped it because it made everything easy. And even in something like What Kind of Fool, where she did, obviously, it wasn't the song that she would have chosen to put out. She was confident that together we would create something that was in the direction of where she wanted to head to. And so I think all of that really helped. And having fun in even the most miserable, literally the historically most miserable week in November in Brazil, we had fun. We had a great time.